Hello and welcome back to the channel. So if you are planning to buy a home in North Texas, then you're gonna wanna stick around because this is your 5-minute guide to home inspections in the Dallas area. Home inspections, get one. Whether you are buying a new construction home or you're buying a pre-owned home, you absolutely, without a doubt, need a home inspection. In North Texas, our real estate market is really competitive and it moves super fast. So I feel some buyers, that's my dog. That's my dog. This is the culprit, by the way. Like, how can you get mad at this? So in North Texas, the real estate market can be really competitive and it can move very fast. So I feel some buyers tend to hesitate with the inspections because they feel like maybe they can speed things along. Or if you're buying new construction, I find a lot of buyers are like, hey, it's new construction. What the heck could be wrong? A lot can be wrong. And you always want to have an inspection whether you are buying pre-owned or new construction to cover your bases. You can't be in this video, baby. A thorough inspection can reveal hidden issues like foundation issues, maybe roof issues, plumbing issues, and you just really never know the health of a house until an inspector tells you what's going on behind closed doors. Think of all of this as protecting your investment. You wanna make sure you are buying a solid and safe house. Now let's break down the inspection process. So number one, you're gonna wanna find an inspector, and I highly suggest finding an inspector with lots of great reviews. And technically, they are gonna be a licensed inspector. So in the state of Texas, all inspectors have to be licensed with the Texas Real Estate Commission. Number two is you're gonna schedule your inspection. So you are gonna wanna schedule your inspection as soon as you go under contract on a property, and you're gonna wanna schedule it for as soon as the inspector can go out. And here in Texas, that is gonna be within the first week for sure. Typically this falls in your option period within a contract. So your option period is normally about a week. So you're gonna wanna have your inspection done as soon as possible. So if the repairs come back, we can negotiate with the seller. Number three is the inspection day. The inspection is gonna last a couple of hours. And then you're gonna meet the inspector at the home, ideally, if you're available and if you're in town, to go through the inspection together. Number four, you're gonna receive the inspection report that's gonna list out with photos and descriptions of all the things the inspector found. Some of these things will be big items, some of these things will be small items, but it is our job on the real estate side to help you determine what is serious and what is not. It is also the inspector that will help us kind of figure out what repairs we should ask for and which ones are not gonna be that big of a deal. Number five, like I said, we are gonna use that report to negotiate the repairs. We're gonna see if the seller is willing to do some of these repairs or if the seller is willing to give us a credit so you, the buyer, can do these after we close on the property. So what are some common issues that North Texas inspectors are finding in these properties? Number one, the biggest issue that they typically find is foundation problems. So here in Texas, we have this clay soil that moves. It moves if it's watered too much, it moves if it's not watered enough. So foundation issues are very common. It's not always a deal killer. You just wanna know what work has been done and who has done the previous foundation work, if any. Roof damage is another one. We get a lot of high winds, we sometimes get tornadoes, and we get a lot of hail. We don't get a lot of hail, but depending on where you are in DFW, you can get some hail. So hail damage is a typical item that we see on a lot of inspection reports. You just wanna know how much hail damage, if there's any missing shingles, and if there's enough for the seller to file a claim on the property, so they can fix it rather than you fixing it later. The third item that comes to mind is HVAC systems. Our summers are so hot here, so having your HVAC system working properly is so important. The last one that comes to mind is plumbing. Plumbing can be really expensive. You know, you may have some leaky pipes, you may have a pipe under the swimming pool that's leaking, but water can cause a lot of damage. So if there's any leaks, that is definitely one of those high priority items you probably want the seller to fix before you move in. And if you spot any of these issues, it is really important that you finalize this with the seller, either in a credit or a repair, before you move forward with your purchase of the property. So my personal tips when it comes to inspections, I think if you can be there for the inspection review at the very end, it is awesome. It really helps you ask the inspector a lot of questions, kind of get some feedback on what repairs are normal, what repairs are maybe abnormal, and something you definitely need to address sooner rather than later. I always feel like meeting the inspector face to face, walking around the property, asking questions, pointing things out is always really, really helpful. My number 2 tip is to stay open-minded. No house is perfect. Every house is gonna need something, even if it's new construction, I'm telling you. I think just going into it, understanding there are gonna be a number of repairs that come back, it's just our job to really figure out what's important, what is something you need to address now, what is something the seller has to fix in order for us to move forward with the transaction. My number 3 tip is follow-up. So I think it's really important to follow up with the seller with any questions. Has there been a history of termites? Has there been a history of foundation issues? I think it's best to be really collaborative with the seller and say, hey, we're buying your house. You've lived in it for X many years. Please tell us what you know, because we are buying your property. We're gonna be living there, so we just wanna make sure that we know everything. And so I think that's really helpful. Also, as an agent, it's helpful to send pictures to the seller's agent to kind of show them hey, what's going on. You never want to send the full inspection report, and I get asked that a lot. It's just a no-no in real estate, because technically, if you send the entire inspection report to the seller, they now have to disclose everything that you told them to the next buyer if you back out of the contract. It's a really jerk move if you send the entire inspection report, and really it's unrealistic to ask the seller to fix all of that anyway. So yeah, that's just another thing. You don't want to send the full inspection report, but you do want to follow up on the questions and kind of the history of previous repairs. And that wraps up our quick guide to home inspections in the Dallas area. So give me a thumbs up if you found this really helpful, and comment down below if you have any questions. Thank you. And again, if you are purchasing in the Dallas area, I would absolutely love to represent you and help you with your purchase. But if nothing else, I will see you guys on the next video.